Hey, what's up, everybody? BDF44 coming at you with another video. All right, so the Lakers just got through getting a victory against the Atlanta Hawks at the Crow here in LA. And, uh, well, it was a lot of good there. It was a whole lot of good there. Thing about this game, as I said in the pre-game video that I made, the Hawks had a lot of players that were questionable. We didn't know who would be playing, who would not. Trey may play, Reddish may play, Bogdanovic may play, all those guys played. Collins may play, he played too. So the Hawks had a very, very good portion of their full team out there. Capella was out there. Yeah, damn near everybody, honestly. Seemed like everybody just wanted to come back. They had been missing players for months, but everybody came back to play us. I even saw Onyeka Okongwu. That dude been hurt his whole rookie season. I ain't seen him since the beginning of the season. He played a full game tonight. And he played very well for the Hawks. So that's what I was saying about the Hawks. They are so deep, man. They got their third string power forward could start on a lot of teams. Like that's how deep they are, and they're the worst team to be deep because Trey Young is, a very very high usage, high attention grabbing offensive player. So if you a player needs shots and stuff like that, you may get them, you may not. So that's my thing with the Hawks. That kind of reared its ugly head tonight. I don't watching them play is a headache for me. Um, because the Hawks they have the talent, but they run a style that just doesn't really cater to any of it. It's just Trey Young getting his shots up, and he'll get his hockey assist or not hockey assist, but he'll get his like a I don't really know if there's a word for this or a way to describe this, but assists that are found within these flow of his pace and offense. Sort of like Russell Westbrook used to get his assists with OKC. It's like, yeah, they're assists, and yes, they help others, but it doesn't help others get in rhythm. I guess is what I'm saying. Like, there's a way to get assists that make others better, and then there's ways to get an assist that just complete plays that you created. And it's a thin line of understanding that, but it's a thing. It really is a thing. And if you're a facilitator, you definitely understand that. So I don't look at Trey Young or Russell Westbrook as facilitators, but they're both fantastic assist players. In fact, Russell Westbrook had, I think, 11 assists today. Um, and Trey had like 15 of them. So that, you look at the numbers and you're like, what are you talking about, Brandon? But the reality is, if you look at how they play, it's hard for other players to get in rhythm playing with those guys, and it's hard for them to get consistent reps playing with those guys. And they got a bunch of players that need those consistent reps. So, yeah, they run a style of play I don't love, uh, and they lost. And I think that was part of the problem because they had plenty enough talent to compete with us, but they just weren't running the right stuff. Um, so that played in our favor. Obviously, we had only 8 turnovers tonight, so we're keeping our turnovers down, which is a huge deal. We shot the three ball very well tonight, above 40%. Carmelo Anthony was 4 for 7. Malik Monk was 7 for like 12. I think he was great. Um, and Avery Bradley was 4 for 7 as well from three. So we definitely had some production there. THT had another very good night. I think he went out of there with like 21 points. He had a fantastic crossover and then slam at the end of the third quarter, which was the highlight of the game. He really shined out there tonight. Shot selection is getting better. Defensive play is getting better. I'm not saying he's completely out of the woods, but you can definitely see where the work is being put in, the attention's being put in. He's taking well to it. So um, I like what I saw from him overall. Uh, like I said, AB, Carmelo Anthony, they came up big, man. Those vets really came up big, hit big shots, were very available. LeBron James is GOAT. You know, what you gonna say about somebody who's already at the top? He's been at the top and he's playing like it, and we're lucky to have him because without him, we'd be the worst team in all of basketball. But with him, we are right there in the playoff hunt. And tonight was yet another fantastic 30-plus performance where he played the center position and dominated it. And as I said at the beginning of this game, I thought that we could get away with playing the small ball if Clint Capella didn't play. Well, the way the Hawks kind of run things, Clint Capella did play, but it was almost like he wasn't out there. I don't know what they've done to Clint Capella's game. I'm not going to lie to you. I've been watching Clint Capella for a long time, and this is by far the worst he's looked. Like, tonight was the worst I ever seen him look. He was getting stripped in just about every play, and kudos to the Lakers for making sure that they swiped at him because he was letting that ball go. He was turning that ball over like Drummond used to do for us. I mean, it was a lot. And you got to give credit to LeBron James for just making sure that he was the catalyst for a lot of that defense out there, stripping the ball like crazy from them bigs. So I love that. We had like 15 steals or something like that. Really big stuff. Stanley Johnson is back, and he was excellent on the defensive end. He also had a fantastic steal and then three-point play where he was falling out of bounds and hit it. A little fall-away jumper kind of type of bank shot thing that he hit. I thought was really nice. Showed what he's capable of doing. I don't know what other teams had going on with Stanley Johnson, but he was born to be on this Laker roster. Straight up. I don't know what happened before. I hear everybody talking about what happened in Detroit, Toronto. He can't seem to find a team, blah, blah, blah. That don't matter at all. This dude has come through and it been exactly what we need him to be at the exact time he need to be at. So as far as I'm concerned, he's found a home here and he shouldn't be looking for nowhere else to play. Straight up. He's exactly what we need. What else, man? There's a lot of stuff to mention. John Collins played pretty well. Onyeka Okongwu just kept popping off the screen, man. And that's the thing. It's like he was a player from USC, if I'm not mistaken. He's also somebody who played ball with the Ball brothers. This is a kid who was a lottery pick. I think he was taken like in the top 10 2 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. Missed almost his entire rookie season. And just has never really got a chance to really show what he can do. But, in this roster, with players going in and out of the lineup, he's found a chance to really show what he can do, and he did that tonight. He really had some good moments. So he's one of those guys, if you always hear me talk about, hey, somebody on the back of the bench you should need to go target. If you're looking for a player with high upside and you may be able to prime away from a team and you don't know what to do with yourself, you're trying to find a power forward, there's one. Go get him. And these guys are everywhere, man, because the league right now, I hate to say this, but there are a lot of opportunities that are being missed by a lot of coaches because they condense these benches to so small that they don't give real upside players an opportunity to step into their own. And sometimes these coaches, they'll get fired and stuff like that. And you look at the roster, you say, man, they didn't have what they needed, blah, blah, blah. No, that wasn't the case. They just didn't believe in who they had an opportunity to believe in. When they had an opportunity to play those players, they didn't do it. They went with old vets. They turned the ball over, guys who, have big names but don't necessarily produce when they just continue to keep them on the floor for political reasons or organizational reasons or just bullcrap reasons, when guys like Onyeka Okongwu and players in his lane with high upside just can't get off the bench because of it. I think Atlanta got too much of that going on right now, and I am calling for them to make a trade to free up some of that for some of those youngsters. They got too many of them. So that's just what it is. And it's just, they're one of the biggest disappointments thus far through the season for me. They just simply are. I don't want to harp too much on the opponent because I'm a Laker fan, but I know what they have. You know what I mean? It's like looking at the Blazers back in 2000 when you knew Jermaine O'Neal was on that bench, when you knew they had a bunch of talent that they weren't using because they had the top-heavy guys that were balling out. This is what Atlanta has. They got plenty of guys that just need an opportunity. So, back to the Lakers, man. What else? There was something else that was very noteworthy. Russell Westbrook. He was a plus 22 tonight, and even though he fouled out midway through the fourth quarter and was shooting poorly, somehow with 3 turnovers, he had the highest plus minus of any person on the floor for both teams for the second game in a row. He had the highest plus minus in the last game too. It's hard to say kudos because I didn't see a whole lot of good out of him, but apparently he was doing a whole lot of good because plus minus does tell you that. So, plus minus is a stat that I trust, and I know some people don't like it because it doesn't really paint a picture that's easy to see. You know what I mean? Like, for example, a guy like LeBron James who did just practically everything was a plus 4. So it doesn't really tell you, you know what I mean? It's not like you could have won the game with Russell Westbrook and without LeBron James. But what I can tell you is his efficiency was undeniable in terms of his assists and his rebounding and how that led to the team being better while he was on the floor. We just simply were. And when he sat down, the lead disappeared, or rather started to decrease to some degree. So for what that's worth, you have to give him credit. But unlike the last game, it wasn't as noticeable how well he was playing tonight for me. I just think he was doing a lot of stuff that rebounding the ball, particularly that gave us second chance points, things like that, and getting assists to guys. in transition and stuff like that. So that's what I saw out there. He didn't look like he played particularly well, but plus minus tells you otherwise. So it is what it is. Who else? Melo played big. I want to see more out of Austin Reeves. This game and the last game, I just felt like he hadn't been very aggressive. Tonight was more of the same. I know his minutes have kind of been swallowed up by AB playing so well and Malik Monk going completely berserk. But I just want to. I believe in the kid. I know what he can do. I think he's as good as our best role player, and I think that he's just kind of in somewhat of I wouldn't call it a slump. He's just not shooting very much. In order to be in a slump, you got to be bricking. He's just not taking a lot of shots. So I just want to see Austin Reeves find his confidence for scoring the ball because I know he can contribute in that category. And even though he's a second round guy or a guy that was undrafted, I don't look at him like that. I look at him as somebody who's one of the smartest players on our team and one of the most important players on our team. So as he continues to go through kind of a lull in his season, maybe he hit a rookie wall in a way or so, I'm going to be looking forward to him snapping out of that. So let's see. What else? We kind of condensed our bench. We played a little Dwight Howard out there, but not a whole lot. Got away with it. Once again, it just brings me back to the Hawks. They just didn't make us pay. What can I say? They didn't make us play. It was a lot of unforced turnovers, just like the Kings. We're very happy about that. And, where they had opportunities to take advantage of their size, they didn't. They let Trae Young attempt some funny shots and that's another thing. Trae Young, man, he really is a score-first point guard who will take whatever shot he wants. And while that's perfectly fine for him being like the star of the show, I just really think that you would love to have some of those possessions back. I'm super big on quality possessions, and I hate seeing players who are supposed to be the point guard jacking up early shot clock free 3-point shots that can't be rebounded by nobody but the other team. You saw plenty of possessions that you would just love to have back if you're the Hawks. And, that's just what I saw out there. It was a lot of them letting us off the hook with size opportunities that they could have took advantage of, different things. I thought we fouled too much, but we got away with it. And kudos to the Lakers for shooting 89% from the free throw line. That is very, very good. We're not particularly a good free throw shooting team. So when we do get to the line and we shoot like that, we're hard to beat. So, yeah, man, I'm proud of my team for the most part. There's not a whole lot to complain about the Lakers. We did our job. Malik Monk, wow, man. Wow. 7 of 11 3-point shots and a lot of efficiency in that first half. Second half, he kind of cooled off. They kind of threw a little more at him defensively. But in that first half, he was just taking advantage of every opportunity given, and he couldn't miss. At one point, it was just like, wow, this dude really is one of the best scorers we got, like, period. He's just super reliable, super consistent. And I like I said, I like the fact that his IQ is as it is. He doesn't force too much. He's not selfish. You know what I mean? He's not somebody who takes bad shots. What he gets in the flow of the offense. And his natural ability just brings him points. So the fact that he's averaging 20 points is not a surprise anymore. And I'm now wondering how his upside is going to go. Like, how good is this dude? You know what I mean? Is he going to take another step forward and turn into something that we didn't know he could even be? But if he doesn't, if this is it, this is good. Like, I kid you not. If there's absolutely no other level for him to get to, he's always going to be somebody that you want on your team because he is just a flat-out pure shooter, a real one. So I'm happy with Malik Monk. Couldn't be more happy, and I want us to keep him. So yeah, that's that, man. As far as everything else, it was just about LeBron James just beating people up and knocking them off. He didn't shoot the ball well. Tonight he had 1 for 7. Like I said in the previous video, his 3-point shot comes and goes. Just like his free throw shot comes and goes. But one thing we can always count on is him making fantastic plays for others. Obviously getting in the paint, doing what he needs to do. And just overall overpowering people. That's just what LeBron James is about. Power and grace and efficiency. And he works it to perfection. So yeah, man, that's what it was. That's really it. I mean, It was so much to consider. The Lakers had 4 players who scored over 20 points. So that's a big deal. We had a lot of scoring out there tonight, shooting the ball very well. I think the Hawks they had like 5 players in double figures with 1 player with 9 points or something like that. So, you got a total team effort from both teams. You could clearly see the depth of both teams available tonight. So that was interesting. Bogdanovic, as I told you guys, somebody who would probably have his shooting arm ready for us tonight. He did. He shot pretty well. Gallinari got some good minutes for them. They played very well. Kevin Huerter's a player I believe in quite a bit. Another pure shooter that can score 30 points in his sleep. He's one of the guys. He's one of the ones that I think of, like, if you need to get him off of that team and put him in a position to have a bigger role. Because I'm telling you, you put him on the right team and it's a wrap. Like, he's literally one of those type of shooters. You put him in the right situation, oh man. I already know what Kevin Huerter's about. I already know. He just needs to be not on a team where the point guard is looking to shoot 25 times. If Kevin Huerter is the guy if he's getting 13, 14 shots a game, you're gonna be very happy with what you get out of him. He's one of those. So I have no doubt about Kevin Huerter. I'm a believer. He just needs his opportunities, and I think Cam Reddish is the same way. Cam Reddish was a guy who didn't get a lot of looks tonight. He didn't take a lot of shots. That's ridiculous. That's absurd. That's a coaching issue. Cam Reddish should be getting at least 10 shots a game. You see what I'm saying here? The Hawks got too many guys like that, man. They got too many guys that are pure scorers who can all go for 30, and ain't none of them going for 30 because you got Trey down there going for 55. It's nothing wrong with Trey Young. It's just that you have a GM there that understands and values the importance of depth. Those two things don't go together. I hate to say it. They just don't. It just is what it is. This is the one time where you just kind of got to let go of some of your depth to get the most out of your team. I hate to say it, but it's the truth. Because you sure ain't getting rid of Trey Young. Nobody in their right mind is doing that. So, yeah, that's what it was. I mentioned a whole lot about Sharif Cooper. He got all of 2 minutes tonight. It's an American tragedy. It's just yet another thing that just makes me so very angry. I look at his minutes. I look at Trey Murphy's minutes in New Orleans. There's a lot of players in this league. If you just let me expand the entire league and just give me a team, I'm snatching a bunch of players and I'm going to beat a lot of teams because I already know what these guys can do. They're just not getting their opportunities. So that's one of those things. Very frustrating for me. But whatever. Jalen Johnson, same thing. You see a guy go for 30 plus in the preseason and does it in emphatic fashion, and then he can't get any minutes in the regular season, and you look at their team and they're down by 15, and it's like, I know what you need. You don't know what you need, Atlanta, but I do. So it is what it is. Anyway, so yeah, man, hopefully they do what they need to do, condense some of that, get those players their opportunities, and in the meantime, the Lakers will take the win. We're very happy. Now we got Memphis coming up next, and we know what Memphis is about. Size, Ja, Desmond Bain. They're so talented, man, and they're one of the best teams in all of basketball, probably the most underrated team in basketball today. I looked at their win-loss since Thanksgiving. I think they've lost maybe 4 games since Thanksgiving. They are one of the very best teams, whether Ja's out there or not. Obviously, we had a very, very memorable couple games with them this season. Those games did not go our way because we chose to go small ball against them. I don't think that's going to work at all, ever, against a team that good. And I don't really know that even if we play our best, we'll be able to have success against this team because that's how good they've played lately. So the good thing is we're a surging basketball team. We're winning. This is the last of a 5-game homestand for which we've won every single game. Gotta love that. Am I right about that? I think we won every game. I got to check that. But I think we've won all 4 of these games. Either way, the point is the Los Angeles Lakers are very much excited about finishing off this road trip against a Memphis team who's going to be very good. They're going to test us. They're going to try to run us out the gym. We just saw Trey. Now it's time to see Ja. I mean, the kids, the young point guards are definitely going to be in front of us right now. And then following that game, we go back on the road and we start off with Sacramento, another team of whom we just saw. So, yeah, a lot of repeat teams, a lot of over and over again type stuff. But we're not so upset because we're having success right now. And that's really that, man. So, update on AD. There is no update on AD. That is the update. The Lakers are not willing to release any statement whatsoever in regards to AD's progression as of yet. They'll let us know when they're ready, period. I don't like it no more than you do. That's just the news. Same Kendrick Nunn, I haven't heard a thing. I don't know what's going on there either. So, yeah. DJ and Bazemore, I hear we're trying to trade those guys. I'm hopeful we'll be able to pull off something to create some space for ourselves. Got to sign Stanley Johnson to the rest of the season. And then we got to try to figure out a way to get somebody who's going to be coming off the books somehow. I hear Robert Covington Rocco from Portland may be a player the Lakers are targeting if he gets bought out. It's looking likely he may. And I think that would be a fantastic pickup. He's a guy who turns the ball over a bit more than I like, but he's another three-point shooter, fantastic defensive player. He gets a lot of steals. So he's basically going to even out his turnovers with his steals. And he's going to give you a lot of three-point shooting. I think he's a little long in the tooth at this point, but I think he'd be an upgrade from a guy like, say, Trevor Ariza or something like that. So, those are the type of things the Lakers need to be looking at. It's just how they can get a couple of those guys, these buyout guys, and get them on this roster and make us a lot better. If we do that, we're off to the races. We already have a fantastic rotation of guards. We already have the best player in the world, LeBron James. We got some version of Anthony Davis returning to us, and we got Brody finding his way in LA. For better or for worse, he's been the best player on the floor, plus minus, for the last 2 games. So he's finding his way. Bron is playing great. Melo's got it going. We got a nice set of players all playing well at the same time. You just got to appreciate that. It's up to Rob to get us a center, and other than that, we're on the road. We're moving. So that's what I got to say, man. Congratulations to the Los Angeles Lakers on a win against the Atlanta Hawks. And I don't know if there's anything else I want to share, man. I think we shot, if I'm not mistaken, above 40% in the paint. I think we did a really good job getting in the paint today. Much better job than we did in these last 2 games, so you got to appreciate that. THT playing well is definitely noteworthy. And Malik Monk gets the game ball from me because what he did in that first quarter was just unbelievable. Shooting and keeping us in it. And also Avery Bradley, if I'm not mistaken, had a career high for as many points as he has ever scored in one quarter, I think, in this game. I think in the first quarter, that's what he did. He had like 14 in the first quarter or something like that, so I felt like that was very noteworthy. So, yeah, man, that's really all I got, man. It was a lot of offense. If I'm not mistaken, the score was like 135 to 119. So you definitely saw teams on both sides putting that ball up and not playing a great deal of defense. That's the thing. Atlanta's defense is awful. That's the reality of it. If I could say anything about that team other than what has already been said, is that they are really, really bad defensively. And they just got a lot of work to do on that side. Funny thing is they have plenty of defensive players. They really do. So I don't know if they got a coaching issue. I don't know what's going on there. But, yeah, you already know. That's what I got to say about that team. Anyway, yeah, that's what I got, man. BDF 44, man. Thank you guys for watching. I'm out.